Wow, that was a wonderful rain. It just kept coming down for 20 to 30 minutes, somewhere in there. We really, really needed that. Everything already looks like it's greening up just after that rain. It's so fantastic. Yay! Well, let's continue. I love that we had a surprise little rainstorm right in the middle of our garden tour here, and I want to show you all the flowers. So I just got done finally pruning up things and weeding and planting some perennials, or moving around some perennials that I haven't been able to get to for a while. We have a little sparrow nest up here that's super tiny. I keep getting in the way of Mama. She just wants to get up there and feed them. I cannot get a decent shot of them at all. Feeling much more under control with these garden beds here since I got out and pruned and weeded and deadheaded and planted some things that I've been meaning to get around to. It just took a while to get to all of it. And now that everybody's gotten a drink from Mother Nature, it's like a glow up. Can't believe how green and rich and vibrant everything looks. I just planted penstemon here. These are perennials. They are supposed to have red blooms, so very excited to have them up against the she shed backdrop. We've got balloon flowers starting to bloom. A lot more buds on their way here. I ordered some of this sedum off of Proven Winners website. Never really had scent for plants before, so that was kind of interesting. Came really healthy. I was impressed. And I think this one's supposed to get yellow blooms on it. So I'm testing out some different stone crop sedum varieties in the garden just to see what I like, and then I might put more in. That chirping, that is that little sparrow nest. They're so loud. They have such a high pitch. They're so cute and squeaky. Yep, there goes Mama. These are the Candy Tough native perennials that I grew from seed. And aren't they pretty? They really look great, and I'm so excited. They're blooming their first year. And they're getting some nice height. They've adjusted really well to the heat. Planted these dianthus. They're kind of a maroon and white. And this is a super fun hardy hibiscus. I forget what color the bloom is on this. Regardless, I love these. I don't care what color they are. They're beautiful. This one is a strawberry shortcake, so that one will have like a lighter white with red in the middle. This might have a red bloom on it. But I love the variegated foliage. I've never seen anything like it. I think it's just stunning. And we'll just add some nice height to the bed and visual impact once they start blooming. The Veronica I planted last year is looking stunning. And it really came back big and hardy. They're loving their spot here. This is the yarrow that I dug up from the pasture out in the wild and transplanted here, and it is doing really well. Except I'm seeing, like, this stand looked great this morning, but I'm seeing with the rain it has this tendency to topple over, so I'm a little bit annoyed that they're not staying tall on their own, and I'm thinking maybe I need to group more of them together. I need to get them into like a mass so they create their own stand and they can support themselves. These gorgeous oriental poppies that I got last year, they're having a hard time in the heat. I don't blame them. I continue to water them. They're definitely alive. I think they're just having a tough go. They looked gorgeous at the beginning of the season in like May, early June. So just keeping an eye on them. I probably need to pull some of the dead leaves away to keep them clean, but we'll just see how it goes. The sage is coming back in a big way. Excited for them to bloom. And the dahlias are looking awesome. Got a whole set of them here that I'm growing. And then lilies on the way. And over in this area, I just planted these white phlox yesterday. They look pretty good for having just been transplanted. They're looking excellent. They got a good drink yesterday, plus the awesome rain this morning, the surprise rain. More dahlias here. And a big one that I bought pre-grown from a local farmer. This one has orange blooms and it's doing really well. And we have some volunteer tomatoes here right next to the dahlias. So I haven't yet weeded them out. I know they're big boys from last year. We had them in this spot. I'm debating just do I leave them, and then as I stake up the two dahlias, they could get staked as well. That might be kind of fun. Just to have some more tomatoes in the garden. We got mums. And some other phlox from past years. They are looking great. And then back here by our awesome Pinky Winky hydrangea tree, these are the Shasta daisies that I transplanted, I think last year. They have just gotten huge. This mass grouping of them was half the size last year. So I'm very, very happy with how they're growing. They just have such a beautiful, compact shape. They're very neat looking, and they can handle the weather really well. And same with over here. I have another grouping over here on the other side of the hydrangea. They just look fantastic. Hello, darlings. You're so beautiful. Thanks for being here. More bee balm here, ready to pop. This is a mix of different purples. Some are like the native wild very light lavender that you'll find in like the ditch, and some are other ones that I've gotten over time. They're definitely approaching 4 feet. Got babies that have shown up, just leaving them, letting them do their thing. I could always move them somewhere else. They're like a little gift that keeps on giving. I have one other honeysuckle, got at the same time as the other one, which is right there. And I'm debating moving this one over by the barn. It's doing good, as you can see. It just has this splay out sort of habit. It doesn't seem to really want to be climbing that trellis. And yes, I could do a better job of helping train it, but it's kind of lost over here. I don't really see it much, and I'm craving having it in a more visual place, or a more visually prominent place, like over on the barn garden. So I don't know, at some point I might move it because I think it would do great there. That barn garden is the most intense garden bed weather-wise of any of the gardens. Like this one gets some shade from the building at certain angles of the sun, certain times of the day, but that barn garden is 24/7, sun up to sundown, heat, lots of sun. And I think a plant like this would do excellent over there. Plus the orange blooms would be so cute and coordinate with the orange barn door. Wouldn't that be cute? Oh, it'd be so cute. A lot more gems. Huge fan. These have done so well. They've gotten so big. And I just want more and more and more. They also are very hardy. They withstand heat really well. They come back usually for second blooming, which reminds me I have to prune off these stems because that will help encourage that. Let's move on to the circle garden. This is the lovely rose garden that has my heart. Well, all the gardens have my heart, but this one is one of my favorites. Definitely have had some issues, but we're getting through it. I've noticed a pattern of things not growing as much here. We certainly had some die out. I just replaced a bush. This bush here is newly replaced. Things don't grow as well. And I'm not sure why, other than maybe it gets a little bit more sunlight. It's a little bit more intense. You can hear the baby sparrows again. They're getting fed. And this side does better. And yes, this side's a little bit more closer to the house. But you know, there's still like tree shelter and stuff here on this side. So it's very interesting, the difference to me. Every year I add new roses so that I can expand out the garden bed. And I try to match them across the way. So I have a brand new rose. I think this is called Ringo. I'm really bad at remembering names of things. It has these beautiful colors with oranges and yellows and whites and almost like a pink blush. And they seem to vary by bloom and stage as well, from like when it first opens to when it's a more mature bloom. This one's definitely on the way out. But what a pretty little bush that'll get pretty big. And let's go see the companion one over here that matches. Isn't that pretty? Ugh, I just love it. And it's next to the other yellow one. This one also got eaten on. Those slugs really like the yellow ones. Doing better. New leaf growth, just like its other bush across the way. So feeling very encouraged. And well, you know, this one on this really harsh side that's had trouble, this coral is actually doing great. We just have some Japanese beetle pressure. But wow, aren't those pretty blooms? The one that was here died. I just replaced this one yesterday, so I got a brand new of the same variety. And this one I thought was dead. And it just started sprouting about 2 weeks ago. And wow, today, if that isn't a sign of, hey, I'm here, I don't know what it is. What a beautiful bloom. It's showing up. This bush definitely did not come back in a big way. Feels like it got set back, but there's some nice new growth on it. So I'm pretty happy. That is my orange rose, which I love. They're one of my favorites. This is its companion. This is an exact mirror garden where I have everything symmetrical across, so everything matches. This is its equivalent, and you can see how much bigger it is and more lush. Gorgeous blooms about to hit. I absolutely love those colors. The equivalent red ones on the other side, you can see the potential and how big that they should be. Looking grand. Wow, look at those blooms. I mean, I can't even register the red on the camera here. It's just so terrific. And if you've been watching my videos, I've been talking about how I've had some slug pressure here, slug larvae worms. So they've eaten on these leaves something terrible. However, the neem oil has definitely worked. So I've been applying that about once a week. And I come check on them pretty often. And when you know it, like this plant was decimated. However, it has been blooming. And look at this. We have brand new leaves. Thank you, buddy. Thank you for being there. Thanks for hanging in with me. This is a gorgeous yellow bloom rose. So I am very happy it's hanging in there with me. We'll get through this. I get this whole garden bed filled in with the perennial roses that I want, which will take some time. I like to fill it in with giant zinnias. These are looking great. Threw the seed in the ground and they are on their way, and they will get huge. They will get 3 to 4 foot tall with big blooms. I think I've got a mix of white, orange, and queen lime, which is like a lime greeny to orange blush. So this will be really, really fun and beautiful as things progress. And one of my favorite surprises, my miracle plants, the snapdragons. Holy cow, are these amazing. These are the ones that weren't supposed to come back. They're acting like a perennial. They came back off of old root growth, old stems, and they're just going gangbusters. I can't even explain it. I added a few more seeds in the ground, some starts, but really this is all just them doing their thing all on their own by the grace of God. This is supposed to be the rose garden, but they get to hang out here. lilies are back. I never used to be a big lily fan, but man, do they pack a punch. Such color. They're so bold. They're just so beautiful. I think why I get irritated about them is they don't last long. They're pretty in and out, but when you have enough of them, it creates quite a show. So I'm excited. We've got more coming, and they're growing, like they're multiplying, which is really, really nice. I don't remember what these are called, but they are one of my most favorite orange flowers, and I love that they're perennial. I'm so proud of this section of the garden. All of the plants you're seeing, pretty much 99% of them are actual legit flowers. There are not weeds here. I did weed this recently, and they're all just like things that have come back or reseeded themselves, and I can move them and clean them up, and yet for now I'm just happy that they're growing really well. Got tons of hollyhocks that reseeded. I've got foxglove that have reseeded. Lupine looking bigger than ever. I'm pretty sure those are also snapdragons right here. And look at the hollyhocks. They just started blooming. Hello, darlings. Hello. They are just so charming and gorgeous. Look at you. And foxglove. Look how beautiful. Wow. This is brand new. Welcome! Look who just opened up this morning. And I love the yarrow behind. How pretty is that? Just got a climbing rose. For the first time, I'm going to try my hand at training a climbing rose. And I put in this gorgeous old bed frame trellis that I've had for a long time. I've been waiting for the right opportunity to put it out in the garden. And I just love this. I think it's so darn pretty. And it's just kind of nestled in the middle here, so that over time, as the rose climbs up it, hopefully, it'll start to bloom, and we'll have a really neat point of visual interest in the middle of the garden here. Here in the memorial garden, I went ahead and pruned back the peony bushes so that the blooms that were spent aren't on them anymore. I've never done that before, and I'm really liking how it looks. It looks more tidy. It kind of gives them, I don't know, more of a sense of place so that they fit into the landscape, because they're not going to bloom anymore this season, which, just like lilies, it kind of irritates me. I wish that peonies would do more. Yes, they have a great show in the spring, early summer, but it's kind of like one and done. Then they're out. But now they become gorgeous foliage, which I'm really liking. And then making sure that as I continue to add things to this bed, there are other pops of blooms and colors throughout. So just added this one yesterday. Looking pretty good for being transplanted yesterday. These white phlox I put in last season. They got really big and they're looking great. And this penstemon I just got as well, and it just got finished blooming. It had these gorgeous white pink blooms. I love the foliage too. What a great contrast against the lime. And those reddish leaves on the bottom are just so pretty. It's like a little touch of autumn and purple in the middle of summer. Got some bachelor buttons. They kind of died off with their blooms. I don't know if I need to pinch them back or what. Maybe they'll come back. A sunflower just showed up on its own. I might need to move that one to the middle of the garden because I think that's going to be rather big. I've had a bunch of them just show up because I didn't get around to planting them in these flower beds yet. I decided to let the milkweed really take over to a good degree here. And I actually think they're so beautiful. And I did not know they are fragrant, just like a lilac. So this area actually smells like perfume, which is just lovely. Added some swamp milkweed next to the regular milkweed as well. So we got a couple plants here After doing some research and talking to some garden friends, I understand that this will help the butterflies and the caterpillars more because they like both of those varieties. And I have been seeing more monarchs around our property than in years past. I'm still figuring out the design for this garden bed. It's a very cool circular shape. And because it's next to the arbor, and it's like really in a visual central spot here with the backyard, I am looking for ideas of ways to put more height in the middle and interest. And so thinking about things like a smoke bush, or maybe one of those really cool narrow evergreens, or a Japanese maple, like something with different color maybe, that's exciting to put in the middle of a garden. So if you have ideas, let me know, and I'll be just on the hunt to try to find the right thing eventually. We're on the front here of the arbor. I really love this area because this is where I like to just sit on the deck with a coffee and enjoy the garden view. And so the sightlines are really important. For me, it's got to have the right colors and textures of things I really want to see versus what might be hiding behind a structure. So I wanted to get some of that primary color palette going here. So like you've got the salvia and the blue came back really, really beautiful this spring. I'm so happy with how well that is just growing and getting thick and giving off a lot of blooms. And yesterday I just planted in these dianthus. They match the mailbox garden ones. And then I've got the marigolds from seed to give that orange punch. So this is making me really happy because I'm getting closer to, I think, what I really am envisioning here. These hydrangeas are those endless summer that have that bright red, magenta, rubyish color. I'm not a huge pink person, but they are so impressive that I had to have them. And they do make me really happy, especially once they're blooming. I mean, they already look really beautiful as a foliage detail. However, once they start blooming here, this whole area is just going to be popping with color, which just makes me so happy. This is my view from that deck spot. So you can see what I'm talking about, where you get to look at all of the beds and just enjoy, the hard work and the beauty, and also hummingbirds. They love to cruise up here. They love to sit on the wisteria vines and then feed from the feeders. And it's so fun to watch them.